Welcome back. This time we're going to look at a real classic. That game is Fatal Fury for the Neo Geo. Rated at a 55 meg. Produced and developed by SNK. Came out in 1991. This is the first game for the first fighting game for the Neo Geo. It's heavily inspired and is considered the spiritual successor to the original Street Fighter. If I can remember the guy's name, Nishiyama is the one who actually worked on the original Street Fighter. His vision was this game to make it Street Fighter, but much better. So, rather than SNK trying to focus in on trying to make a Street Fighter 2 counterpart, they just made a game that basically was a more playable version of Street Fighter, because we all know Street Fighter was garbage. It was virtually unplayable. And that was basically where this game came from. They could have taken the time to, put a little bit more things into it and all, but they wanted to release it because whereas a Street Fighter 2 focused in on combination system, this focused in on the special moves and timing of moves. Different, very unique. So, yeah. Also, if you saw in the, where the taxi cab is dropping off of Terry, you'll see the SNK mascot at one point. His name is G Mantle, if I'm not mistaken. And he eventually gets replaced, and Terry becomes more the a mascot of SNK, which is actually pretty neat. And another thing, too, even though this came out in 1991, if you notice on the billboard, it says 1990, because this game was in development before the original Street Fighter 2. So, yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Alright, let's get into this shit. Alright, go with normal. Okay, moves are basic. A punch, a kick, and a throw. And then you have your special moves that are accomplished via Street Fighter-esque motions. Let's go with Uncle Terry. Alright, let's pick, let's go West Subway with my man Duck King, because he's a motherfucker. I like that they changed Duck King a lot later, and he became a much better looking character with a hoodie and all that shit. Awesome stuff. Much better. Now, he's an annoying as shit character. Now, if you notice, the graphics are pretty decent. The characters are large. They're fairly well detailed and extremely colorful. Another thing that's unique is that some of the backgrounds change from day to night. Some have weather effects. And this is all showing the power of the Neo Geo. The thing is that's what they want to do. Show what type of different stuff that the system can do. So, hey, it's pretty decent. There we go, took his ass out. Yeah, so a lot of the backgrounds are really, really nice. And, have the SNK fanfare, like you saw Richard Myers in the background and all, which is really cool. Another thing that's actually pretty cool is the voice and the music is actually really decent. That's one thing that SNK started getting really good at, is that realistic speech. And listen to the background of this. That's awesome. Hearing the what do you call it? The lyrical soundtrack to, the Pow Pow Cafe theme. Amazing. And it's cool fighting Richard Meyer, because Richard Meyer will train Bob Wilson in the Fatal Fury 3. You'll see him. Basically his successor. And as you can see, Terry retains a lot of the moves that he'll retain much later on. Okay, he'll be a bit more muscular and a bit more aged, but it's really cool to see the roots of this game. And let's just start going to the complaints. Alright, the most obvious is going to be the lack of characters. Alright, so, yeah, I agree. An 8-character roster list compared to, from Street Fighter to this is kind of bland and pretty lacking. So I have to agree with that. But, like I said, this game isn't trying to be Street Fighter 2. It's just trying to be Street Fighter, but pumped up and playable. So, what can you ask for, really? To be honest. And another thing, too, which is actually pretty neat, that most other fighting games, it has an in-depth story. Because, you know, of course, taking 10 years after the death of Terry and Andy's adoptive father, Jeff, it's got a really in-depth storyline. I hate this fucking bonus stages. Fucker. There we go. Sorry you had to hear that shit. But I like the storyline. I think it's really great. I think it separated itself from, you know, Street Fighter. And it does give its unique appeal. It's its own game. And a lot of people do bash this game. And for shame, because you know what? You have, you know, the two-plane fighting system in most of the background. You have, you know, the two-player cooperative against the computer, which is unique. These are things that weren't done in Street Fighter, and still never done at a certain point. And SNK was trying to evolve fighting. You know, making the two-plane system, making, you know, being able to fight against the computer, 2 against 1. And also, you can actually knock your character on, when you just have one plane, you can knock them into the background. Which actually remains, I think, in Fatal Fury Special, too, I think. And then I think it kind of changed as time went along. I mean, that you could actually hit them into an object and it would create damage, which is actually really cool. So yeah, what's more to say about this game? Should you get it? Fuck yeah! Because this showed a bit of evolution in fighting games. Well, like I said, it's not the caliber of Street Fighter. It's not trying to be Street Fighter. It's trying to be something itself, its own type of game. So, you can find it for the Virtual Console. You can find it on SNK, I think, Volume 1 Classic, the Fatal Fury Battle Archives, all sorts of nice shit you can find it for. And it's worth checking out. Like I said, I mean, it's not the most perfect game out there, but it's definitely one that you should be checking out. It's a ton of fun, and it's a good throwback to a time gone by. He whipped my ass. And you can find it for the AES and the S, but just be careful, because of the Neo Geo's popularity, the game is starting to become increasingly expensive. So, you want to kind of watch for all that. Come on. So, yeah. So definitely check the game out. I think you'd really enjoy it. Like I said, if you just base it upon Street Fighter, you might be asking for too much. But if you just look at upon what it was trying to be, a spiritual successor to Street Fighter, I think to the first original Street Fighter, I think you'll really enjoy it. So, okay, I'm going to leave you, see a little bit more gameplay. Also take note of the background of it changing. Actually, another unique feature to the Neo Geo. All right then, I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Also, I want to thank Bata Brand for giving me this recommendation. Take care. I'm out. See ya.